have a new zombie movie in 28 Years Later, Bone Temple. But the movie that set the template for the modern zombie movie tropes was Night of the Living Dead from George Romero way back in 1968. I had actually never seen this movie until just a couple days ago, and so I watched it and I wanted to share my thoughts on it. Here are my thoughts on it. Hi, my name is Nathan. I talk about a lot of movies on this channel. If you're new here, down below in the comment section, share what you think of the movie Night of the Living Dead from 1968 that I'm sure all of you guys have seen. This was a first time watch for me because I don't watch a lot of super duper old movies, but I decided to check this one out. Over on my channel, I have more reviews like this. Check those out once this video is over. Click the like button. Be sure to subscribe. That really does help a lot. And let's just get straight into the review. And like I said, this is the movie that set the template for the modern zombie movies that it was just so influential at the time and still is influential to this day. And so I kind of just wanted to go back to it to see, like, does this movie hold up? Like, if I watch this movie for the first time in the year 2026, does it still hold up to this day? Having seen the film now, I would say it absolutely does still hold up to this day. When you watch this movie, you see the invention of all these classic zombie tropes that have been copied and done either with slicker production and, you know, in color obviously, and more sophistication in the writings of every zombie movie that has come afterwards. But here, you're seeing the invention of all that, and it's still just as effective because of all these movies that I watch are so effective at it. This movie was just surprisingly effective for a movie that came out in the 1960s. The tropes about sort of humans' inability to work with each other and sort of their skepticism of how they trust each other, wanting to be correct in the situation, the impulsiveness and the worst elements of humanity. It explores all of that in a movie that was an independent film at the time in 1968, made like over 250 times its budget, so it was very profitable, became a big hit, and obviously we're still talking about movies like this to this day, and we're still getting zombie movies, like, you know, 28 years later. Like, we're still getting zombie movies that have these same sort of themes about humanity, and it all dates back to this film, and it works so well in this movie as well, where you get a set of characters that are trying to find a way to survive in this one building, and they all have a different strategy. They all believe which is the different way. You see the perspective of like a parent trying to do what's best for their child who's been infected, and a guy that's just really desperate to survive. Like, you see it from multiple different perspectives in this film, and every which way they try to escape. And the movie still manages to be super intense to this day. Like, I was surprised at just how captivated I was by this film and how, like, edgy or seat thrilling it actually was in the year 2026. Watching a black and white zombie movie from 1968, it didn't seem like it would be super thrilling. It seemed like it would be dated, but it's still so effective and thrilling to this day. Also, it just really surprised me how sort of violent the film was. Apparently, this movie was made right before the MPAA rating system fully came into play, and so this was just when movies were being made, and I was kind of surprised about how violent this movie actually was. Like, it wasn't afraid to show, like, people getting shot and cuts being shown and, like, fingers being cut off at some point. Like, it surprised me how violent this film actually was and how bleak it actually was also. Another common trope of the zombie movies is that they often have the trope of, like, you know, everybody dies at the end, it's all hopeless, and this movie has that ending, and it's still so effective in the year 2026. And it's a film that was truly ahead of its time because it has all the stuff that makes a modern zombie movie great, and it's all just still present in this film. So for me, this is truly a film that stands the test of time, that really was ahead of its time, remains a classic to this day for good reason, and as somebody that watched it for the first time a couple days ago, it absolutely does remain an effective zombie classic to this day. And it definitely is one of the most influential zombie movies, while also just being a fantastic zombie movie. Is it a movie that I have in my favorite movies of all time or anything like that? No, but it is a movie that was effective back in 1968 and is still works in the year 2026, which really surprised me. Overall, I'll give it an A minus. This is an absolute classic. We wouldn't have a bunch of zombie movies if it wasn't for this film. But those are my thoughts on the film. Down below in the comment section, share what you think of Night of the Living Dead over on my channel. Add more content like this. Check those out right now. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end. I'll see you in the next one.